You know, back in the day, people understood respect. Whether it was for your neighbor, your elders, or the royal guards, everyone knew the importance of showing common courtesy. But times have changed, haven't they? Nowadays, it seems like some people think everything is just for their amusement, including those who serve their country. Today, we're going to look at how entitled tourists, often called Karens, cross the line and learn a quick lesson in respect. Trust me, the results are as satisfying as they are shocking. 1. Karen gets too close to King's Guard.
Do not touch the King's lifeguard!
Take a look at this woman's face. What exactly did she expect to happen here? A hug from the guard, maybe? She seems to have forgotten that these guards are soldiers, not props for a tourist's photo op. Back in my day, people had a healthy sense of boundaries. You wouldn't dare get this close to someone who was doing their job, let alone a member of the King's Guard. But of course, it seems these days people just do whatever they feel like without thinking twice. It's not just one incident either. Unfortunately, this type of behavior seems to be a trend. Take a look at what happens in the next clip. 2. Karen takes King's Guard's place.
Just wait for the gear.
Show it, just show it.
You know, there was a time when we truly valued traditions. I remember feeling proud just to see our soldiers stand tall, representing something bigger than themselves. But now, you get people like this who think they can just take the guard's place as if it's all a joke. The sense of entitlement is unbelievable. It reminds me of a conversation I had with my friend Ted from the bowling team. He was saying how nowadays people seem to think they can get away with anything. And this is a perfect example. But as we're about to see, karma has a way of showing up when you least expect it.
Get out of the box!
Imagine having to put up with that level of disrespect day in and day out. Similar scene at the grocery store the other day. Someone thought they were above everyone else and caused a scene for no reason. Just because the person didn't get their favorite drink, it's just the way things seem to be now. But the royal guards aren't the only ones fed up with Karen's stupid behavior. Even their horses aren't having any of it. And honestly, I don't blame the horses for that. 3. King's Guard's horse fights back against Karen's. Now this one takes it up a notch. There's a big sign right there that says, "Beware, horse may kick and bite. You can't miss it." Back when we were younger, if you saw a sign like that, you respected it. It was a no-brainer. But these days, people either can't read or think they're somehow above the rules. It's like my grandson told me the other day, "Grandpa, people don't take warnings seriously anymore." It was a shocking moment for me, and I had to correct him right there at the moment. But who will teach these fully grown Karens? You would think getting kicked or bitten by a horse would teach some of these people a lesson. But no, they keep coming back, acting like nothing happened. It's hard to believe. But some people just don't learn. They see others get hurt and still don't change their behavior. It makes you wonder what's going on in their heads. As we march on with our list of Karens, things only get more depressing. Take a look at this one. 4. Karen gets in Royal Guard's way.
Make way!
And if you think that's bad, just wait. Some of these folks don't just ignore the warnings. They actually get in the guard's way while they're on duty. These guards aren't on a leisurely stroll. They're there to protect the royal family. I remember when just seeing a soldier in uniform was enough to make you feel proud. But these days, it's like people think the guards are just part of the tourist attraction. They don't even seem to realize these are real soldiers, not some Disneyland actors. What exactly was going on in this woman's mind? The guard was just going to watch while she did her silly TikTok dance? She clearly has no idea how hard it is to stand still in one spot for hours, let alone with all the gear they have to wear. I was talking to someone at the library last week, and they said the same thing. It's a tough job, and people don't appreciate it anymore. And sadly, it only seems to be getting worse.
Do not touch the Queen's Guard!
The guy was standing where he's standing. Oh, see that?
That's just weird.
Do not touch the Queen's Guard!
Some of these tourists seem to think they're invincible, like they can disrespect the guards without facing any consequences. But as we'll see in the next clip, not all guards are willing to let it slide. 5. King's Guard puts Karen in her place. Now, you'd think that after everything we've seen, people would know better than to mess with the King's Guard or their horses. But some people just never learn. Here we have another entitled individual who takes things one step further. When the guard's horse makes it clear that it wants some space, what does she do? Instead of stepping back, she starts slapping the poor animal. What happened to loving and caring about the animals? Do they now see horses as mere objects too? The amount of disrespect just baffles me.
Just like the nose. She hit the horse 3 times.
As expected, the King's Guard wasn't going to let her get away with that kind of behavior, and frankly, she deserved the reality check. The horse was trying to communicate that it needed space, but instead of respecting that, she just kept antagonizing it. Growing up, we were taught to respect all living creatures, and that seems to be missing these days. This woman's actions were completely out of line, and the guard wasn't having it. She quickly learned that not everything revolves around her whims. I would hope that after an incident like that, she might rethink her behavior. But unfortunately, from what I've seen over the years, people like her often don't reflect on their actions. It's like my daughter told me the other day, "Dad, some folks just never take responsibility." She's right. You can show people the right way to behave, but understanding and changing is another story entirely. Sadly, some just don't seem to care. However, they do face karma for their stupid actions, like the next Karen on our list. 6. Male Karen disrespects guard and gets arrested.
He's being rude.
Now let's talk about another type of Karen. It's not just women who pull these stunts. There are plenty of men who think the rules don't apply to them either. Here we have a young man who takes things even further by hurling insults at the King's Guard, trying to provoke him. Honestly, the nerve of this guy. Does he think that disrespecting someone in uniform will make him look tough? Thankfully, the people around him didn't let it go unnoticed.
Yeah, stop being so goddamn rude. Yeah, you rude bastard. Call her a sausage. Look at you. You're a sausage. Look at you, spastic.
What really bothers me about this one is that the man had no respect, not just for the guard, but for everyone around him, including older folks. He's shouting insults, not caring about how his actions affect others. This kind of behavior is what happens when people aren't taught consequences growing up. I was chatting with my neighbor Bill last week, and he said, "You know, Jack, these young folks think they're invincible because no one ever held them accountable." And I couldn't agree more. Well, this guy certainly got a taste of reality.
I can't, that's my phone, you can't touch it before I punch you in your face.
Go on, piss off.
Say that to my face.
Piss off. Piss off. Piss off. Piss off now. I said piss off. You.
He tried to act tough, but that didn't last long. As much as he thought he could get away with disrespecting the guard, the situation quickly turned against him. The crowd wasn't going to tolerate his antics, and before long, he realized he had crossed a line. Have a look at how the cops gave him a reality check.
You're a sausage.
Brother, why are you attacking man for, bro? Keep us man, bro. I didn't do shit. Calm down. I didn't do shit, cuz. Did you not see what happened?
These kinds of incidents are a reminder of why it's so important to instill values like respect and empathy early on. If this young man had been taught to show respect, especially to those in uniform, this whole situation could have been avoided. Instead, he ended up getting exactly what was coming to him. Hopefully, this served as a reminder not just for him, but for anyone else watching. Unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident. We see disrespect like this more often than we should. 7. Disrespectful tourists. Face karma. Speaking of disrespect, here's another example that will make you shake your head. In this clip, we've got a bunch of tourists who should have known better. Now, you'd think that when you're visiting another country, you'd be mindful of its traditions and show some respect, right? Well, not this group. Instead of appreciating the experience, they decided to mock the King's Guard's looks. The audacity. Luckily, there was a nearby police officer who was ready to step in.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Well done. That's it, yeah. Throw them all out. Well done, officer. Bye-bye. See you, folks. Learn to respect the military or get out is fundamentally what he just said. Look, the guide is telling them all to leave. Well done. This is what happens when you disrespect the soldiers here who are at work, treating them as though they're a bunch of clowns here for entertainment. Well done, officers. Brilliant to see.
Now, to be fair, these tourists might not have fully understood the significance of what they were doing. But still, ignorance isn't an excuse for disrespect. When you're in another country, it's your responsibility to learn and follow the customs. I remember when my wife and I traveled abroad years ago, we always made sure to be respectful, whether it was learning a few words of the local language or just being polite to those we met. But some folks today seem to think that the world is their playground, no matter where they go. At least in this case, there was someone to teach them a lesson, and it's a reminder that there are still people out there who won't tolerate bad behavior. Hopefully, these tourists walked away having learned something about respecting other cultures and traditions. But we've seen plenty of examples where people simply don't change. It seems like no matter how many examples we see, there are always a few people who just don't get it. In this next clip, we've got yet another Karen who ignores all boundaries and common sense. She doesn't seem to realize the role of the King's Guard isn't to entertain tourists. These soldiers have a job to do, one that's far more important than posing for photos. Let's watch and see how this guard handles the situation. Spoiler, she definitely gets what's coming to her. 8. Karen gets schooled by King's Guard.
Step back from the waist lifeguard! Not touch the ring!
Once again, we have someone who thinks the world revolves around them. She's up in the guard space, treating him like part of the scenery. It's clear she doesn't respect the fact that he's there to protect, not to entertain. Back when I was growing up, you wouldn't even dream of behaving like this around anyone, let alone a soldier. But now, it's as if people think they're entitled to do whatever they want. Well, the guard was quick to set her straight.
Don't touch the ring!
You can see just how fast the guard reacts. He's not there for her amusement, and he makes that very clear. She might have thought she could get away with it, but soldiers don't tolerate that kind of disrespect. I was talking with some folks at the library the other day, and we all agreed that social media has made people lose touch with what respect really means. They think that they can hurl insults in real life just like they do on their keyboards. But what they don't realize is that the real world operates far differently than the digital one. Just take a look at how this man got a reality check. 9. Royal Guard points gun.
His gun is jammed. Can you see the knife on top of it? He can't shoot.
Now, this one takes things to the next step. Here, we've got a guy who clearly thinks he's above it all. He walks right up to the guard, mocking him with a smug look on his face. You can tell by his attitude that he doesn't have any respect for what the guard represents. I can't help but think this guy has never had to work hard a day in his life. Well, the guard made sure that he learned a valuable lesson that day. Let's take a look.
Get back from the Queen's Guard!
As soon as the guard raises his rifle, you can see the guy's smirk disappear. Suddenly, he's not laughing anymore. The guard didn't hesitate to make it clear that this behavior wouldn't be tolerated. And honestly, who can blame him? This is serious business, and mocking someone in uniform is never acceptable. I remember hearing from a friend last week how some people just don't understand boundaries anymore. This clip proves exactly that. To end on a brighter note, while these Royal Guards show one of the greatest examples of professionalism, this doesn't mean that they are incapable of showing emotions. They are humans just like us. It is just that they are on their job, and people are watching them as tourists while on vacations. Here's what happens when a King's Guard breaks character. 10. Royal Guard shows kindness to special little girl. Have a look at this little girl who does everything right. She approaches the guard respectfully and even asks for permission before petting the horse. It's a small gesture, but it shows how much better things go when you show consideration for others. In return, the guard allows her to pet the horse, showing a rare moment of kindness. Let's take a closer look. This clip is a great reminder that the guards may be strict, but they're also human. When they're treated with respect, they're more than capable of showing kindness in return. It's moments like this that make you realize how important it is to teach the younger generation about manners and respect. I was talking to my grandson recently, and he mentioned how much he looks up to people in uniform. It's moments like this that help reinforce those values in young people. In this next clip, we see another touching interaction between a King's Guard and a young family. The father and son approach the guard with the same respect we saw from the little girl, and the guard responds with same respect. It's these small acts of decency that make all the difference. If more people treated the guards with this kind of courtesy, we wouldn't have so many negative encounters. Respect is a two-way street, and this clip shows just how far it can go. These clips remind us that respect and courtesy go a long way, no matter who you're interacting with. Whether it's tourists acting out of line or people who show genuine kindness, the difference is night and day. Treat others with respect, and they'll respond in kind. It's really that simple. And if you take anything away from today's video, let it be this: respect is always the right choice. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe for more. See you next time.